Hey there, John O'Connor here again. You know what my problem is? Monster Manuals 2 through 5. As you can see, I was thumbing through Monster Manual 1. And there's a lot of great content in this, and love the ideas given. Some monsters I'm not a big fan of, but it's more of a personal taste, not necessarily a mechanical thing. An example, the dinosaur. Yeah, not a big fan. Just doesn't work for me. But I tell you what does work for me. The formatting. Monster Manual 1 had the best formatting and is what I use for anything I'm planning out. If you watch my Welcome to Lexington Burnt Zombie video, yeah, when I left the description of the zombie, I left it in Monster Manual 1 layout form. Every other layout was just somebody trying to be creative for the sake of being creative. It wasn't to make it any better. It wasn't to make it easier to read. In fact, it made it harder to read. I like reading this book, going through it, finding what I like, and if I decide to change something, if I decide that, hey, maybe this works and this doesn't work, or, you know, I need to change this up a bit, I can go in, read an entry, go, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and if I typed it all out as it's presented here, it makes it really easy to rearrange. Now, where this becomes a problem in later editions is base, attack, and grapple. Other monster manuals in the 3.5 line don't have the grapple listed. So sometimes you're trying to do something and it's like, well, shit, what's the info here? Especially things that have improved grab. Well, now you're trying to figure out what the grapple is on this goddamn monster, and you're, well, shit, let's do some math here. The creative liberties taken in the later editions went from, let's give you more and more monsters, like the first book did, and let's tell you 2 pages of story about this one monster we have. Which I might not have been opposed to, except that after a while it started feeling like fluff, especially by Monster Manual 4 and 5. A lot of it just feels like fluff. Well, we needed to make a book that you'd buy, so here's an entry about this. An example where, like, the subtypes of gnolls. It was like, really? Really? We needed different gnolls? It's bad enough these things sleep with each other, and now you're going to tell me other species sleep with it too? No, I don't need that visual image. I'm not a fan of furries, I don't get off to that, so I don't know who did and was like, there's winged gnolls, there's, you know, gnolls that are better at swimming, casting. No, no. Base gnoll, fine, it can do whatever it wants, it can be whoever it wants, I don't care. A gnoll can be your best buddy sometimes. You know, it can play fetch with you. It can, you know, take arms and help you in a fight. And afterwards, you can be like, hey, want the ball? Want the ball? Woo! I'm okay with that. But we didn't need to give the gnoll more spotlight. And in 2 different books, it gets more spotlight. In one, I think Monster Manual 2, maybe 3. They show what a gnoll would look like if it just took growth hormones, you know, beefcake. And it was like, okay, well, that was stupid, you know, let's show the muscular gnoll, and it's different, and it doesn't respect the other gnolls, but the other gnolls respect it. I'm like, no. just no. Okay, it can exist, I allow it to exist, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with the muscle head who, I work out, I lift. And other gnolls, yeah, we respect him, even though he thinks we're cannon fodder. You know, gnolls may not be the most intelligent creatures, but they have an idea of self-survival. And they're not just going to go, well, let's sacrifice our lives, because this guy knows what he's doing. No. It doesn't work that way. Sorry. But less about the gnolls and more about the formatting. Again, let me find a good entry. Something that I like. Pit Fiend. Nothing wrong with the Pit Fiend. Love Pit Fiends. My players have actually fought one at like level, I want to say they were like level 14, and it's a level Challenge rating 20. See how easy that was? I just had to take my finger, go down the page, and I found, oh, it's challenge rating 20. Again, Pit Fiend. Large outsider. And then there's, it's evil, it's extraplanar, it's lawful, tells you how many hit dice, which is initiative, which is speed, attack bonus, grapple, attack, full attack. Again, I love that. Later, I think some of the other editions, they just gave you the full attack. It's like, well, sometimes you just need to know what a single attack is because it's going to take a move action, and I'd really like to know the difference in numbers. Special qualities. Again, right where you can see it, right where you can find it. Its skills, how it's spaced out its skills. It's something else to great know. The feats it had. Now, I like knowing what feats a monster has because sometimes you want to just tweak it or make it a little bit different. Especially with the monster manual, it's like, okay, this Pit Fiend didn't take that feat, it took improved natural armor a couple more times. Or, you know, instead of improved natural armor, it took, you know, improved fly. Something just to, you know, make it different. Its environment, I normally don't put environment when I do mine. I like it in the book, but I don't necessarily like it all the time because environments of things can change. Now, with Pit Fiend, no, it's not going to change, but things like a zombie, well, zombies can be made anywhere, so it doesn't matter what the environment is. Organization, I like it sometimes, I don't always like it. The thing I have against organization is, again, with intelligent creatures, they can organize however the hell they want. Yes, there is something to be said about patterns and tradition, but it doesn't always work out that way. Challenge rating, love challenge rating. It tells you right off the bat, okay, this is how big and bad this thing is, and this is the, you know, using math and having the DMG, you'll go, okay, ideal if my character's this level, but there's a chance they could take it at this level. So that's always good to know. Advancement. Now, advancement I have a little bit of a problem with, only because with a lot of things they get bigger, and it's, to me, it's just not necessary to make things bigger and bigger and bigger. But at the same time, I understand why it's there. It makes, mechanically it makes sense. It's a sound idea. But sometimes I just do ignore it and go, the Pit Fiend doesn't need to be any bigger than this. It can just stay that size. Level adjustment. Now, I have my reservations about level adjustment sometimes, but I do like it when it's in a monster entry. It tells me what I can and can't do with it. I've had a NPC before by the name of Starla, who is actually been very prevalent in the last few campaigns, and she's not going to make an appearance in this one. But she was a nymph who took levels of sorcerer. So it was really nice knowing her appropriate challenge rating and everything she could do because of her +7 level adjustment because she was a nymph, and then the levels of sorcerer. So, you know, it was easy to do things. It was easy to balance it, you know, and like, okay, this is how powerful you are, this is when they should meet you, kind of thing. But all in all, love, adore even, the formatting of Monster Manual 1. If all the monster manuals had been like this, as far as formatting for the monster entries, I really wouldn't have too much to bitch about today. But the problem is, they're all over the fucking place. And it just seemed like that was the thing you didn't need to fix. But through all of the 3.5 line, that seems to be a running theme. Let's fix what's not broken. Don't get me wrong, Second Ed needed some balancing. 3.0 needed a lot of work. But once you got the ball rolling, you didn't need to keep tweaking and reworking. Formatting of Monster Manual 1 was solid. I loved it. Everybody else loved it. Nobody needed to change it. But they decided to. So yeah, kinda irritates me. That's why this video is being made. But any content I give you as far as a monster I've made or an idea that I've had, and I'm always going to present it in a similar version to Monster Manual 1 entries because it is the easiest way to digest information once you've gotten used to it. You start out with this book and you're like, wow, I love the way they do entries, I love the way they do things. And then you've got your hands on a Monster Manual 2 and you're like, well, where's the grapple at? Where's just the regular attack at? It gets irritating. And there was things like Monster Manual 5 or 4, there was entries for monsters that weren't given stats. They was just lore and ideas. And then they put maps in there, like, well, this is where you might fight. It's like, I can build my own map. That's why you told me the environment. I can do a lot of things by myself. I don't need your help there. I needed your help with the creation of the monster. Again, subsequent books I don't think anyone really added any more monstrous feats, which are really helpful. You know, hover, improved natural armor, improved natural attack, multi-attack. These are all things you'll see in later issues, but again, they all started here, in the core rulebook. But this is not only an issue with Monster Manual 1, it comes up in a couple other places where the way they give you information, they got you used to it in the core rulebooks, and then they wanted to tweak it. The only time I don't think you see this is with classes, and I very well could be wrong. If I am, you know, leave a comment. But I think the classes were the only time where it was like, oh, here's a good format, let's leave it the hell alone. Wherever, with the monster entries, it was like, fuck it, let's just throw paint on a wall and see what sticks. So, after getting used to this is what I started out with. I used later editions relatively soon after I started reading this one. But Monster Manual 1's always had a special place in my heart, only because it made sense. Everything you needed to know, and some stuff you didn't need to know, was all put into digestible little sections, so you could tweak it and modify it as it seemed fit for your campaign and your story. Other ones spent too much time on the story building aspect of it, which didn't give, in my opinion, didn't give the DM a lot of wiggle room, which I think all DMs need a lot of wiggle room, and it really hurts when you have to take something and go, okay, this is all the fluff around it, okay, rip all that out, and now put my own personal... It's just not as much fun as just if you take something out of Monster Manual 1 and go, okay, well, that's its environment, this is its nature, this is what it's known for, and go, okay, well, I can completely turn that on its side because it wasn't 2 pages worth of reading. It's just better that way. You know, someone with bardic knowledge finds out some obscure fact about a race. Okay, well, that could be true, but then you actually meet it and it's like, well, you know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Whereas Monster Manuals 4 through 5, no, if you rolled your bardic knowledge or your knowledge nature, this is what the player should know. And it's like, again, it kind of takes the fun out of me designing, which as a DM, that's what I love to do is, you know, tinker and look at things and say, how can I make it better? How can I make it worse? You know, how can I make it, oh, this is a really cool entry, but it's only for a challenge rating 4 and my party is level 18. How can I, you know, beef it up? So, with that in mind, I know I'm rambling a bit, but Monster Manual 1, love the formatting, love the variety of creatures. I'm not dogging the other ones for their content, merely how they went about going about it. I honestly think Monster Manuals 4 and 5 could have been fit into the same book if you just cut out probably 50% of the fluff. If you guys enjoyed this little rant of mine, please like, share, subscribe, and if you didn't like it, feel free to argue with me in the comment section. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll talk to you later.